As I was saying before my camera had the rudeness of stopping, I have videos on YouTube. Feel free to look and subscribe to me. I have a variety from some how-to beginnings, which when I get this little project done, I'm going to start from the beginning again. And we'll be covering cast-ons, cast-offs, increase, decrease, making a hat, making a pot holder. Now when I do the pot holder, I'm going to show you how you can make it into a blanket. And we're going to do quite a few projects. If there's a particular project you'd like, just shoot me a comment and I'll see what I can do. And I'm just going to do this for about maybe 5, maybe 6 inches. And then what I did with the increasing, I'm going to do that again. I'll probably start off with 3 rows and a hang up, and three rows, then hanging a stitch, 3 rows, hanging a stitch. Because I want it to be kind of a floppy brim. Not quite sure how wide the brim is going to be. Depends on what it looks like. You'll see it's kind of coming up straight down the edge. It's kind of doing an edge on it, which is what I wanted it to do. Now I've got I call it a mitten snippet. It's actually an 1.5-hour film that I did a fast forward on, and I condensed it down to 2 minutes. If you would like to purchase that DVD, it'll be on a DVD, so you can watch it at your leisure as often as you want without being near your computer. Maybe you can set it up in front of your machine and you can sit and watch it while you're doing it. But email me and I'll let you know the particulars on that. I have a shop that made it myself, which I'll include the address before I finish here. One thing I want to remember, once you're making something, even if you're following a pattern, it's still your item. So if you want to change, if you don't like the trim on it, like the band or something, do something different. Be creative. Learn the basics. There's pretty much a lot of what I'm doing. And really, even this little hat we're creating here, because really all it is knitting, pushing the carriage from left to right, hanging a stitch, and pushing it from right to left. And you just do that a whole bunch. So far I'm up to 600 rows. But as I said, my rows are only 4 inches long. 4 stitches. And no, I am not going to be videoing this whole side. I am just going to do one round, and then I will leave you, and I will be back approximately the time that it takes you to finish the side. But please feel free to subscribe to me so you'll be notified when I get the other next part done. But I've got a baby sweater up there you're welcome to look at. That one covers cast on, increase, decrease, making a sweater for a baby with raglan sleeves. It's a newborn sweater. Just a simple, there's one that's got cable stitches on it, and one that has just simple stitches. Please feel free to peruse, and if any of those you want to put, would like me to put on a DVD for you, just send me a message and we'll see what we can come up with an agreement. Uh-oh. I dropped the stitch. Yeah. Hang on while I go grab the stitch. Can you see me? Barely. Let me try to do this left-handed. What I've done is I've caught the stitch down where it's in the work, and I'm just going to relatch it up. And then rehang the stitch on back onto the needle. Okay, and that is probably because I'm talking while I'm knitting. And doing two things at once is not the easiest thing to do. People talk about multitasking, and the only thing that suffers when you do multitasking is the two tasks that you're doing. I know, because I'm the queen of multitask. I hardly ever do any one thing at a time. And then like here, I'm knitting, talking, and videoing. That's not multitasking, because I do not have a cameraman. So I just do the best I can. It's like you're coming into my living room and knitting with me, which is kind of neat. So pull out your machine and join me. I'd love to hear about what you do, what you make. Now, what I did earlier is I pulled my marking thread out and put it back where is the end / beginning of my round. I know it looks really weird, doesn't it? But you can see it. It's starting to curve up. Well, see, it's got a kind of little ridge. If you wanted just a little platter, you can have a little platter here. Now in this case, I'm doing my best to pick up every stitch, because I do want it a side stitch. Now, if you wanted a bigger band going down, you can, when you get to the round, I'll show you, because I think I want a little bit bigger of a band than this little band here, going around the side of the hat. So when I get back to my marker, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add, I think maybe 4 stitches. That'll be good enough. I'm going to still be a spiral. But instead of, my bands are approximately maybe ½ inch. But if I do at least 4 more, add 4 more stitches to it, it'll be about 1 inch. And then I only got to do maybe 5 rounds, which would be kind of nice. Yeah. Now, if you'd like to make a baby blanket, more than just a little cloth, I'm going to show you. Shoot me a line. If there's a particular stitch you'd like to practice with or figure out, send that to me, and I will do my best to figure it out myself, and I'll shoot you a video of it. Always looking for ideas. Of course, my well hasn't dried up yet, so My problem is I'll go to sleep at night and I'll start thinking about it. That's where this thing came from. And unfortunately, I had to get it put together so I could sleep at night. That's where most of my ideas come. I'm working on a sweater for myself in my off video time. It's more of a coat than a sweater. It's made out of Vantage white, Vantage purple, which is what this is, Vantage choice. Got raglan sleeves with a shirt collar. And I've got tapered sleeves. And I wanted it more. And I did a folded cuff on it because I wanted it kind of snug. I didn't want it open. I don't like wide open sleeves to get in my way. I'm not the most gracefulest person going. It's going to have buttons up the front, which the buttons I made. Which I'm thinking this thing may have a button at the top. I already got the button. It just keeps staring at me. But this is going to be the button. It's just a plastic ring that I had covered. And I used the machine for some of it. That particular one I used a crochet hook. But I'll show you how to do one. I may have on the machine. Yeah, check the baby sweater. I'm trying to remember what part it was on. I'm not sure. Okay, you just keep stitching away. When I get back to this point, I will be back. So I'm going to close down now and get this edited so I can get it put up for Tuesday. I try to post on Sunday and Tuesday. It's about the only free time on the internet I have when I'm not working. I work from home. Okay, thank you for listening. And I'll finish this up and I'll be back before I increase my stitches. You have a good day. Thank you for watching. Come visit my YouTube site. I'll finish getting my website up here very shortly. And I'll include that in a list of credits for y'all. Trying to come up with a better camera, but all in due time. All in due time. So, as I've said a couple times, I'll let you go. I don't care what I do with knitting. We'll talk later. Hello, welcome back to CDS Studios. I've got my circle here, and it's just about 6 inches. Which is about the palm of my hand. And what see, this is the outside of it, and that's the inside of the hat. Now I'm almost to my, actually it's actually right here, so I messed that up a little bit. I'm almost to my end of my round, so what I need to do is I need to bring, I'm going to be doing the sides. Now to do the sides, I will just knit one, attach. Knit one, attach. So I'm making the sides of the hat at this point. One, attach. And you'll do this for the height of your hat that you want. And if you find that it's not quite the shape you want, just increase a couple rows. And that'll make it kind of like a cap, you know, that's a little bit bigger. Now I'm just using leftover yarn because this is just an experiment. And if you're wondering, so far I've done about 564 rows, which, considering the fact that each row is only 4 stitches long, that's not bad. Okay, now I'm going to continue down through this. Knitting my 4 stitches for my row, hanging my stitch at the end of each row, knitting 1 row, hanging my stitch, knitting a row, hanging my stitch. Now if I don't catch every single stitch, I'm not overly worried about it because it's still going to pick up the shape I want. And it's the same like when I was increasing. If I didn't pick every next stitch, I didn't let it bother me because it's still going to pick the general shape of what I was looking for. And if it doesn't, I could hear that it didn't stitch right. It's kind of a thud instead of a clunk. Yeah, I'm not real good at mimicking sounds. But if you've stumbled upon this video and you'd like to see some of my others, please subscribe to me. I will try to give you at a minimum of 1 new one a week. I enjoy it. I think I like designing the things. I have a really hard time following a pattern, which is one of the reasons the patterns that I create to sell, I also create a video that